Hello, everybody, and welcome to
Gank That Drink,
a supernatural drinking game podcast. This is Season 3, Episode 2, Bad Day at Black Rock and Sin City.
That is Krissy, who you just heard, and I am Nate.
Who you're hearing now.
I don't know. I always forget the order that we do this.
Well, it doesn't matter.
I know it doesn't matter anymore.
So I think at this point we're usually like, hey, you know, in every episode we're gonna blah blah blah.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's right. This is that part. Okay. Look, folks. Normally I have a thing up, but I did not have the thing up. All right.
That's
so
okay.
here we go. This is the show where we drink and we watch Supernatural, but we don't just. We're not just imbibing at a whim, at will.
Although sometimes we are doing that.
Well,
too,
sometimes that yes.
But
in
that's
addition,
not all.
Right? No, it's a structured drinking. It is a game. We play drinking games.
Yeah.
And each season we try to cultivate the best drinking game
for you,
the people of the world. And this very season that we are on, which is season 3, as you mentioned, because it was cut just by a strike of writers.
The writer's strike
because of injustice towards writers and towards creativity and greed. I was at a young age when that was happening and probably don't know all the details. But anyway, I remember being outraged. But in honor of that, we are going to be kind of lazy on this season, and we're just going to Google other drinking games and play your drinking games. It's not lazy. I know. I'm just joking.
Look how high my voice got.
Yeah, you got real defensive there.
Defensive rage.
No, but we want to bring it to the people.
Well,
so
okay,
if you're out there and you've designed one of these games, we want you to reach out and say, hey, thanks for a shout out on our game.
Well, but we're also trying to change it up each season, right? Because our goal is to create the perfect drinking game for you to play along with what we're thinking is 2 episodes of Supernatural at a time. And so the first season we played one specific way. The second season we played a different way. This season what we're doing is playing through one that we didn't make up, and then at the end we'll be like, well, here's the ones we like. Yeah. The best. But we're also gonna there will be spoilers if you haven't.
Gosh, yes.
That's the point, is to talk about the episodes.
Yes, I mean, and you've had a long time to watch it. We're in season 3.
Season 3.
Yeah.
No reason not to watch season 3.
You've got lots of time. Watch it backwards. Watch it.
So here's what we watched. We watched a Bad Day at Black Rock, which was directed by Robert Singer and written by Ben Endland, 2 of our Supernatural behind-the-scenes friends who have characters either in whole or in part named after them. It aired October 18th, 2007. And Sin City, Robert Singer was one of the writers, but then it's all people that have not any of our big heavy hitters.
That checks out.
Yeah, and then it aired October 25th, 2007. We are solidly in the 3 millions still in the viewers.
That's good.
Okay, so and here's the drinking game that we played.
Oh goodness.
It was extensive. From drinkiwiki, DRINKIWIKI, drinkiwiki.
Not a sponsor, and
I feel like I'm saying it weird.
I think
for someone whose podcast is called Gank That Drink,
right.
I can't figure out how to say
Drinkiwiki.
See, I keep wanting to say drinkiwiki.
Yeah, it's drinkiwiki.
Yeah, a Wikipedia
for drinking games. I believe. I read it. Yeah, that's what it was.
When you go to the site, you can just put in anything you want, and they'll figure out what the drinking game are. So this one.
Now, all right. By the end of this episode, I will have the top 10 other drinking games that you can play from drinkwiki.
Check if they have Game of Thrones.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure they do.
Okay, and so they split it up into 3 categories: an all-drink category, and then a Sam, Dean, and a Castiel. Of course, we only played Sam and Dean because there is no Castiel yet. We both played the all-drinks. You played the Sams, and I played the Deans. So the all-drinks include John or Mary Winchester are mentioned.
Bobby says idjit.
These are all just one drink, too.
Yes.
Sam and Dean hug.
Anyone says, what the hell?
Anyone says, seriously?
Anyone has a hallucination.
Anyone mentions being brothers or family.
Sam and Dean have a talk.
It's in italics.
Yeah.
You know, it means something serious. Any character is thrown into the past or future. 2 drinks if it isn't Dean.
Those are some very episode-specific ones.
They
Where are we at? There it is. Any blood relative of Sam or Dean appears.
Okay, and then you read the Sammy ones
All
because you
right,
played those.
and then I will be playing Sam calls Dean a jerk. Sam gives anyone a puppy dog eyes. Bitch face. He dies. Says Dean. Cries. Tries to sacrifice self for Dean. Drives the Impala. Drinks demon blood. 1 drink for every one Sam takes.
Oh my.
Yeah. Punches Dean. Eats. Loses a fight. Wins a fight. Gets some. Oh, and wins a fight is 2 drinks, and then it's if he gets some, it's 1 drink, and if it's for free, it's 2 drinks. I feel gross saying that
You
now.
do, yeah. And then, so the Dean rules are if he calls Sam a bitch, if he smirks, if he calls anyone Chuckles or Chucklehead, which is a rule I like, if he says Sammy, cries, tries to sacrifice himself for Sam, has bitch face. I don't like that rule at all.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
Says son of a bitch, says awesome, makes reference to Sam being gay or girl. Ugh, I also hate that one. Punches Sam, talks to the Impala like it's a person, flirts with someone, dies, eats pie, loses a fight, or wins a fight. It's 2 drinks. That's a lot of rules, and we're not even playing the Castiel
Nope.
ones.
Nope.
So what I found, we'll talk about this more when we get to the drinking game part of it, but like you need the more interesting and engaging the episodes are, the fewer rules you need to play. So that's when you would need to go to those heavy hitters, or like I'm playing 2 and you're playing 2,
Yep.
and that's what we're doing. You know, like because this is like 25 rules to keep track of.
Yeah, and I think and I don't know if they're putting this out there as like, here's potential rules, like we've done in the past, where it's like, here's just a giant list, you choose what you want,
Draw it out
or
from a bag,
like
yeah.
we don't know what the objective
Right.
of this list is.
But we were test driving it, so we
Yeah.
have to figure out they
Yeah.
want us to play it as. Oh, and also, like, I'm using past tense because
Yes,
we
I
watched
wasn't
the
sure.
episodes last night. We watched them already, and we drank along. And then, but we were too tired at the end to set up the recording equipment, so we're doing it today. So we drank last night,
Right.
and we're ganking today.
Yes, and I'd say we're about the same impairment or at least tiredness level as we were at last night.
I'm not sure about
I don't
that.
know,
But.
or more. But yeah,
So, Bad Day at Black Rock is one of my favorite
classic.
episodes. It's so good. Basically, we start with fucking Gordon.
yeah. Gordon just keeps popping up,
Yeah.
and I mean, love it. Sterling K. Brown, love it.
I love Sterling K. Brown.
But just
and he's not holding back in his performance because he's
No.
on a show like Supernatural.
no, he's
like
delivering.
he's very intense.
Yeah, Dorian walked into the room and said, "Is that the guy from This Is Us?"
He did.
And I guess he didn't know he was on there,
Yeah.
but he did anyway.
Briefly, I think he
Yes.
makes his exit later in the season. So he is in prison, and he, of course, is getting his other hunter buddies to hunt Sam. He's like, look, Sam Winchester must die. And bottom line. So he sends these 2 hunters after Sam. Meanwhile, and one of the other hunters is named Kubrick.
Yes,
There are
which is
no-
a great, yeah.
No pop culture reference rules in this game.
No, because our rules are cool.
Also, everybody, this entire episode, this whole episode pairing, everyone is just calling everyone by their last names. Everyone's just calling each other by their names. That would be like me going, Nate.
Yes,
what did
Krissy.
you, Nate? Just like I don't call you by your name constantly the way that writers think people do
Yeah.
in the show Supernatural or Dawson Creek or anything like.
They just do they feel like they need to remind us of the characters' names?
That
Will we
one's
forget?
Bobby. But even the lesser known characters, like their names must have been something interesting because the guy whose name is like Goobleberry or whatever, the 2 idiots. So these 2 idiots have
Yeah.
broken into John Winchester's storage locker and stolen something that was in a protected curse box.
Correct. And they take it back, to their dingy flat. And
you make it sound like they're in England or
yes.
something.
Well, I'm making these guys sound way classier than they are. There are a couple cat burglars who broke into John's super secret. Anyway,
it really reminded me of that episode of Breaking Bad where that couple has the ATM.
The ATM. Oh yeah,
because they're just like these two idiots who have something they don't know what to do with.
And they were put up to it by a woman. She said that, but we're not going to give it to her because it's probably worth way more money. And they open it, and it's a rabbit's foot.
Yep.
Yeah, just a rabbit's foot.
Just a rabbit's foot.
And they're mad until...
So they realize... Well, this all develops. So, like, the boys find out that Dad has this storage locker, and that... Can you imagine that going up on Storage Wars? They're like, John Winchester hasn't paid his bills in a long time.
That needs to be a YouTube sketch right there. Like, a good, 10-minute YouTube sketch.
This locker's on Storage Wars.
Or that's a whole nother... Listen, that's a whole nother season of Supernatural right there, is all of John's stuff gets out. Of that locker, and then they have to hunt it all down. Boom, found more content, season 16.
Yay! And so it's because it's full of obviously cursed objects and blah blah blah. So they track it down, and what we learn from what happens in the funniest scene, where if you are the owner of the rabbit's foot, then it's your lucky day.
Everything goes your way.
Almost in a Rube Goldbergian Final Destination sort of way. Like in a
Meet the Fockers montage, sort of.
I don't.
Nope, no, okay.
But so Sam and Dean go to get the rabbit's foot back, and they realize they both get knocked unconscious in the fight at the beginning because the guy has the rabbit's foot, and so they slip and fall and bump into each other and all this silly stuff. And what is a really funny scene.
It is. It's
a funny episode.
It's very slapstick. It's great. Yeah, there's lots of there's great witty humor with Laura Cohen's character. Lauren Cohen's character. We
haven't met her yet.
I know. Well, I didn't know if you wanted me to reveal that or not.
She's coming.
Don't know how we're talking about this episode.
So anyway, Sam gets the rabbit's foot. They defeat these two idiots.
Yeah.
And then the grossest scene of the whole thing happens. Again, very Final Destination.
Oh, and a great job. And good cinematography with it. And, really, really liked how they framed everything with it. I was really impressed. It built the tension really well.
It did, but this guy dies with a fucking barbecue fork. I don't believe those two men are doing any barbecuing.
No, who knows why that was in their sink. Deep in the sink, gross. Too. It wasn't, on top. There was a lot of dishes he had to dig through to even get to that. But then... Who, when they dry their barbecue fork, puts it up?
Tongs up.
Who does that? How do you get it to stay like that?
No, you should never. Oh my God. So he dies, and then the boys find out that as long as it's a cursed object, because as long as you have it, it's your lucky day. But much like the Elder Wand,
yes,
if you lose it, the luck immediately turns and you are cursed. So they go to Biggerson's and they're having lunch, and that's when Lauren Cohan shows up. And she's just pickpockets Sam and gets the rabbit's foot. Except here's my question. So later they show that she is using tongs to touch the rabbit's foot so that it's not really hers. So how'd she get it out of his pocket?
When she was holding it,
in the dish towel?
It was in a dish towel or some sort of rag or something, because when she walked away with it, they have that shot of her walking away, and she opens and it's in a
dish towel.
A dish towel, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Sam's
because when I saw the tongs, I was like, oh, that's why she had it in the towel. Makes sense now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she knows what it is.
She knew exactly what it was.
Yeah.
Which I always love. One of my favorite things in Supernatural is when someone else knows and the boys don't, which I know is all the time. But
all the time.
That's one of my favorite tropes in it, is just especially, and I love this character because, and again, should have kept being in the show until, I know Walking Dead happened, but whatever. She could have kept being in the show.
Nobody liked her. Fans hated Ruby and Bella.
I don't get that, though. Bella is so great. A supernatural thief? You tell me the show couldn't use that over and over and over again?
I don't know. They didn't like it. Nobody liked her. Because I don't know. I liked her character, and I like the episodes that she's in, but they just didn't feel like it was right for the show. but yeah, so she knows all about these curses. The boys didn't even know that Dad had a storage locker.
Yeah, they're really just like wading blind in these early seasons.
And so then Bobby explains everything to them. But here's and we get all this hilarious business of like now Sam is the least lucky. He's just like falling down and losing his shoe in a grate and like
very slapsticky episode. Like we get a lot of great physical gags
and a really great performance from Jared Padalecki.
Yeah.
This is his time to shine.
I lost my shoe.
He's so funny. And then he's sitting down, like Dean tells him to sit in the hotel room and not do anything, and he like ends up starting a fire and like knocking himself out. It's great. You gotta watch. This is a must-watch episode,
absolutely
obviously.
Must watch.
And then, but here's my question though. So that it shouldn't have worked, right? Like the Elder Wand, if Bella hasn't touched the rabbit's foot, then its allegiance shouldn't pass to her. It should still be Sam's until someone else touches it.
Yeah, but I feel like maybe that's the thing. The curse is if you lose it.
But John put it in.
Right, because he still possessed it on his like property and something he built, and I feel like it's still like in his ownership because he had it.
Kind of like when Dumbledore gets buried with the Elder Wand.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense to me, Nate. Thank you.
And because then I was Sam literally just lost it.
Yeah.
And so the curse is if you lose it, then you lose your luck.
It was the act of him losing it.
Not her. And so I guess, or like it's the ring. It's the from Lord of the Rings.
From Lord of the Rings. Yeah. It wants to leave you and go to someone else.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the sense I got from the foot too. Was it was like
it wants
desiring to be exchanged, and like that was kind of the point of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I guess when it's lost in the middle of the caves, it doesn't belong to anybody, and it still tortures people looking for it.
Let's get nerdy.
Yeah, let's go.
So Bobby tells them that the only way to lift the curse is to destroy the foot in like a magical way. So Bella's got it, and like we're meant to believe that Dean breaks into her house and then puts a sticker on her security thing.
A Post-it note.
With the Post-it notes that we all know Dean Winchester carries at all time that says, turn around.
Yeah.
What?
It's super clever. Again, it's the slapsticky, like, cartoony bit. They're literally like a little Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner action going on.
So we get a really cool exchange with Bella and Dean, and Dean takes the rabbit's foot.
Yeah.
And, but Bella gets it back.
No, she takes his car.
No, that's at the very, very end.
That's at the very end.
So they go out to try and burn it. Oh, but Bella gets the drop on them, and like it ends up that he tosses it to her, and she catches it. I don't believe she's dumb enough to fall for that.
I don't either, but it went with the theme of the episode of that like tricky, gaggy, like da 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 da. Now you got it, whop.
Yeah.
And now you got to burn it. In the very complicated cayenne pepper ritual.
Yes. And she steals all their lottery winnings. Yeah. Dean is, of course, like, first thing, he's like, oh, we're going to play the lottery.
Smart.
And she steals
when you're living on the road.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
And it's a great episode.
100%. 100% watch it.
Okay,
In contrast.
Do you want to talk about Black Rock? So Nate is going to do a new segment, which is to learn about the places.
So right now I might come up with a new name for this, but I'm going to just call it your Twig Update, which is This Week in Geography. Shout out This Week in Baseball. So Black Rock. The Black Rock Desert is in Nevada, USA. And there's not a whole lot of interesting things about it. There are immigrant trails from settlers moving west in the 19th century. I guess that's kind of a cool thing if you want to drive out to the desert. But it's best known for hosting Burning Man each and every year. And so the boys in the
so do you think John just loved Burning Man and went every year, and that's why he got a storage unit?
He just kind of kept everything in the truck, and then when he needed to dump stuff, he just went to Burning Man and dumped stuff, or maybe Burning Man, it's native land, so there's probably some sort of supernatural reason he needed to keep it there too. And we're assuming, they say, his storage unit in Black Rock, we're assuming it's in Nevada because that's the only one I've seen.
They have a tendency to make up.
They do.
stuff.
So, but either way, and the whole point of this segment is made up or not, we'll try to find an interesting geography fact about something around or associated with wherever they are.
This has been Twig with Nate.
Your Twig update for episode 3.
Okay, the second episode we watched was Sin City. I
didn't understand the premise of this episode.
Okay, so the premise sort of is that there is a shooting. So the beginning of the episode, there's a nun, right? What happens?
It's the nun and the priest, and the guy like
kills himself.
Okay,
right. So then we cut to Bobby's trying to make new bullets for the Colt.
Yes.
All right. So the premise of this episode is that in this town, everybody has just lost all of their moral compass. And the town is going from a small, sort of ordinary town to Sin City, where there's gambling, there's sex workers, there's,
Right.
People are gambling away their hard-earned money, and that's why they're killing themselves. They're drinking and doing drugs, and it's like Vegas took over this small town.
Okay.
What's the name of the town?
Elizabethville, Pennsylvania.
And, of course, obviously, the boys are like, it's got to be demons.
Correct. That makes sense at this point in time in Supernatural, that they would think it. And it kind of is.
Because they can track at least 2 people who just went from being regular, ordinary, everyday dudes to all of a sudden like gambling away all their money and killing themselves. So they go to this place, and it really is like the one bar that they go to.
I thought it looked like Old Town to me, Old Town Scottsdale, but
well, it's like if this town had a tank top store, like that tank top store was a boomin'.
Tank and halter tops.
Yes.
That's like all it was.
Because it's just full of like white blonde women who might be sex workers, but might just be people, and people are getting into bar fights, and they're pulling guns on each other and shooting each other in the bar.
It's like the Old West, but with tank tops.
Yeah.
Is what it was.
Exactly.
Like,
so, blah,
which is why
blah,
I didn't
blah,
understand
blah,
the premise of this.
Dean runs into one of his hunter friend, who is this totally sleazy, cheesy, like, bada boom,
very like a character from Swingers.
Yeah.
Or like, just like a greaseball. He's like a greaseball.
A cheesy greaseball. Yeah. I don't believe Dean would have, like, anyway. Or that he's a hunter. So he gets captured and killed by the demon, who is the sexy bartender. And then, like, this episode is just, like, it's not even worth talking about. So, of course, Dean figures it out, and Devils traps the demon in a basement, and they're all both trapped in the basement for a long time.
Ooh, and plot twist, the priest is a demon.
Yeah. So Sammy goes to the priest for help. The priest is a demon. The demon's a demon.
Everyone's
the point is, we all got out of hell, and we gonna.
I will say this
people.
episode though, okay, because the subplot of this episode and who saves the day ultimately is Ruby.
Ruby,
right? And we love Ruby. I love Ruby. Ruby's great. And I say the importance of just knowing about this episode is
Ruby sends Bobby.
Right, she sends Bobby, but she helps Bobby. And she's there too. So we get hard-nosed Bobby, right? All of a sudden working with a demon, right? Mm-hmm. So now we got one of our crotchety members of our family working with a demon, and we have Dean and the sexy bartender demon, who are start to find like some common ground and some empathy with each other, and they start like kind of talking there, and even we get that moment right when Sammy comes in and shoots her, where Dean's like, no, right? And that's like, they're so wishy-washy. They are wishy-washy, but we're starting to see like kind of even the cracks, the beginning of the cracks that we eventually get to that lead to Crowley's and other people, So I think that was an interesting part of this episode, was how they kind of hit that hard with demons, which right now are like the biggest bads that we have in the show.
Because they all got out of the devil's trap. Right. Well, and so we learn from the demon lady, we finally hear Azazel's name.
Yes.
She's like, what do you think? We all just call him Yellow Eyes? It's like, okay.
Touche.
And she also says that no one has heard of or seen Lucifer in forever, which it took us some time to figure out, it's because he's trapped behind whatever the seals are that Lilith is eventually going to break.
Yes.
Or no, they let Lilith
out. They let Lilith out. Lilith opens the
lets Lucifer out.
Lets Lucifer out. Right?
That's so many seasons from now.
Right, because then we get the whole thing where Chuck where they're like, it took us, who was it? It was him and someone else who, we had to put him back. Was it Michael? Not Michael. Anyway, but when it was in that season where they put Lucifer and Michael both in the cage, when, no. I'm thinking of.
You're way ahead.
I'm way ahead.
You're
I'm
way
thinking
ahead.
of what's her name? The sister.
Rowena.
No, not Rowena.
The Darkness?
Is it The Darkness?
I don't know.
Yeah, The Darkness. Yeah, The Darkness.
There's too many episodes of Supernatural to keep them all fucking straight. She does have a name. Amara is her name.
Yes, that's the name.
We need a Supernatural trivia contest to come our way soon.
Where is that?
Okay, so here's what I thought too is so the reason that Dean can't exorcise her while they're trapped in the basement is because he doesn't have that shit memorized, and she ruins his exorcism book. Fucking take a hot minute and memorize your thing.
Yeah.
Memorize it.
We're unfortunately 2 years away from the iPhone, so you can't just put it in your notes app.
Yep. And this also, we've talked about all the different ways that we would make an easy devil's trap, on an unfolding thing or on a frisbee, and I'm just on a coaster. Just fucking drop coaster, toss coasters around everywhere you go.
If a demon eats a devil's trap tortilla, what happens?
What happens? So, yeah, but that was the only fun part of this.
Yeah.
It was just a boring, dumb
I wouldn't
episode.
say. I'd say we've watched more boring episodes.
Yeah, but this one was also
had
that hallmark of 2007, which was a lot of cultural insensitivity. Calling all the hookers and whores and all that stuff. So skip. I say skip.
Skip it.
There's no reason. What did you learn about the town?
Okay, town of Elizabethville. So we're on the good old Elizabethville town website, elizabethville.org. It is located, I believe, I want to say southeastern Pennsylvania, somewhere in southern Pennsylvania.
Well, they're already in Pennsylvania, so it would make sense for them to just go.
And I just want to point out that they have a community park of 14.5 acres, and it's a peaceful location that contains several pavilions, 3 baseball fields, a playground, and a community swimming pool. So it sounds like a lovely place.
No demon priests.
No, and it was founded in 1817, so it's an old town. It's been around a while. And they did talk about in the episode how it's an old Rust Belt, or kind of like Rust Belt factory town. So that's probably true, I would imagine.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So here's how the rules played out. Of the all drink rules, John and Mary were mentioned 3 times.
Oh, and while we go through these, understand that there's probably way more than
we probably missed
on
a lot.
Some of these.
It was too many rules to keep up with.
Yes, and too many very is innocuous.
We kept being
did
they say seriously? The ones that are dialogue, if it's not them saying each other's names, or the big words that you always notice, like Gank, Idjit, the chucklehead, the big ones, if it's they say seriously, or even when they say what the hell, it's
really hard.
Those are too hard.
Yeah, we'll try to be better at it in the future. But okay, so Bobby,
I don't think we could be better at it. We have the closed captions on.
I know. we get note taken, and we get into the episode. Like you talked about, when you're into the episode, it's harder to look for the rules because
you're that's when you got to play the simple ones.
All right, so Bobby says Idjit.
Happened once.
Yeah, happened one time.
Anybody says what the hell happened once?
Anyone says seriously happened we think once, and what the hell is a question mark too, because that might have happened more.
Anyone mentions being brothers or family, we counted 5.
Which again brother had to be way more probably. And again, that's such a common, and we've played the family rule before, and we know how many times. Because that's when it's the only rule. Because that was season 1, we were playing that as one of the 2 rules we had, and so we noticed it way more.
As a heavy hitter, yeah.
Yeah, it is. Okay, so then Sam and Dean have a talk one time.
We counted that first one where he's dude, can't hang out with Ruby.
We didn't get a talk I guess we didn't get a talk at the end of the
The Sin City one?
Sin City.
No, Dean has his talk with Bobby at the end of the Sin City
okay,
one.
okay.
Like, don't you think? And then you did the Sam
and
rules.
the Sam rules that hit were bitch face 2. We counted maybe. Says Dean.
Yeah, we weren't sure about what is the bitch
Yeah,
face. I don't like that rule, and I don't like it.
He says Dean 3 times. It was I think it was definitely more than that, and I just wasn't like shouting when it was happening. I was just taking sips.
Right.
And I was like forgetting to be like, oh, there it is. But also there's a couple times where he says Dean like 4 or 5 times, or maybe like 3 times in like during a fight or something like that. Where he's like, dude, or something. Yeah. Anyway, he eats one time. They both ate at Biggerson's, and then loses a fight. They lost the fight in the comic fashion. He lost a bunch of fights, and then wins a fight 3 times. I mean, they always win all the fights in the end. It's supernatural.
And then of the Dean rules, he said son of a bitch 3 times. He called Sammy a girl once. He flirted 3 times. He lost 2 fights, and he won 2 fights. So, I mean, the rules didn't play super hard, but, like, I think we just missed a lot because it was too many.
Yeah. It was hard to find. It was hard to...
But it was still fun. This was a fun episode to watch through, and it was a fun episode to record. And I'm just excited. There are so many good episodes in season 3 that, you know, even though it's going to be short season of Gank That Drink, it's going to be a really fun one.
It's going to be great.
Because next time it's episode 4. No. I'm an idiot. It's episode 3 of season 3 of Gank That Drink. We're watching Bedtime Stories and Red Sky at Morning.
Yes.
So that'll be the fun one. Join us then. Hey, do you have a drinking game rule?
Oh, please send it.
Do you have a suggested cocktail?
Please send that one.
Last night, I was drinking Bullet and LaCroix. Mm-hmm. Which was perfection.
Yeah, and I was drinking a homemade strawberry banana smoothie with pineapple vodka in it.
Yeah.
And that was delicious as well.
Nope. So let us know, like, what should we drink?
What should we do? Yeah.
You know, like, rate, review, thumbs up, tell a friend. All of that stuff is awesome, and we appreciate it, and we appreciate you.
Yeah, and if you're in the Phoenix area, come see us perform at National Comedy Theater in Mesa.
Yeah.
Downtown Mesa, nctphoenix.com.
Yes. And so when you're out there, you know, saving people, hunting things.
The family business.
Keep the most excellent podcast motto network, the Gank That Drank most excellent pod, you know, overview motto in mind, which is be excellent to each other.
And party on, dudes. Our vision statement.
Yeah.